So here's the moment of truth. Let's see if I've learned my lesson from the previous comic strip. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been working on the show for over 25 years now, and I'm here to empower you. So what you're going to see me do here is flat and light the drawing before I actually add any of the color. And in this time around, I actually went out of my way to take even more time doing the lighting part of it in black and white, so that I could break up foreground, middle ground, background into three distinct different values that worked at least in the black and white stage. Now I found out to my dismay that once I started adding color, it kind of changed things around a little bit. But we'll get to that in the coloring part. For now, you're going to see me do the value study. So let's get to it. Okay, so as usual, this is the part that, as far as I'm concerned, it tends to be the most tedious. It's just breaking all the shapes down and making sure that I've got selectable shapes, so that once I add the color, it's really easy. I could just replace this temporary crazy color shapes with the actual colors that I'm going to need for the body. Also, because they're all crazy colors, I could actually see how they overlap and interact. So that's one of the reasons why I choose the crazy colors as well. So selecting the backgrounds are going to have no lines, so it's actually very important to make sure that the selection for the backgrounds are as accurate as they possibly can be. And I'm just going over it and over it, all these things, making sure that everything... See, I think this wouldn't take as long as it's taking, if it wasn't for the fact that the lines are so rough. I am not inking it, so the lines are extremely rough. That means that I have to work a little bit harder to make sure that all these shapes are within the line and are working correctly with the line work. That said, it's not as tedious, I guess, as it would be otherwise. So the idea here is that once I have all this set up, what you're going to see me do is I'm going to, fortunately for me, the Clip Studio Paint program has a button where I could just turn every tone, every color in a specific group or groups of layers by just the press of a button into whatever color I want it to be. And that's what I did here. I made everything gray. That way I don't have to worry about all the garish crazy colors, and I'm just dealing with gray tones. And I just grabbed the texture and I put the texture on there, and now I am seeing how the textures actually change the values here. I'm also adding the shadows here. So, and the way that I do the shadows is I just put a tone of what I think the bounce light shadow color is going to be, and then I create a mask and I erase the mask, revealing the shadow color. So the idea here is that the foreground is going to be the darkest area. The middle ground, I think the middle ground was meant to be the background's supposed to be the lightest area, and the middle ground is just the most neutral gray out of all the parts. I think that was the idea, which is the reason why the background is so blown out, so that it's the whitest area, the whitest white. I also added because I'm doing the backgrounds without any line work, I added a highlight area to the background, so that it has that the edges can be distinguished between each other. It's the way that we see is we see values and edges and things like that. So I start off with the light direction, where the light is coming from, and then that's when I put in the shadow. And again, this is all masks. What the masks help me do is they help me experiment. If I mess up, I could just simply delete the mask without too much fuss. And also, if I decide to change my mind on the color of the shadow, all I have to do is go into the main color and use the bucket tool and just change the color with the bucket, the paint bucket tool. All right, so and that's it. That's the coloring, the shadow and the value process, and it was. I did learn to do. It does now look better in the value lighting part of it, so that now when I add the color, it should, in theory, work. It turns out it doesn't quite work as well as I wanted it to, and I will talk about that in the next video. Okay, so thanks a lot for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. All right.